Okay, once again I will introduce myself, students, and I am Sheela Dikshit. I have done my masters from Andhra University in the course of zoology, and I have 3+ years of experience, and I taught over 10,000 students. Right, students? And let's get into our class. And see, students, we have in a SISYA class courses. We are offering lot of courses, multiple courses. So if you want to join the courses, like we are offering booster courses, and we are offering math champion courses, and also we are offering the SISYA topper programs. So these are the multiple courses and multiple programs we are conducting in our SISYA classes. So if you want to join our class, you can enroll by choosing the grade and by choosing the class, and after clicking on the class, so you have to enter your mobile number. Right here you have to enter your mobile number, and after that you have to choose the city and the state where you are living, and after that you will enroll easily into the class. And if you have any doubts, or if you want to know more information about our classes and courses, you can contact with this number, students. Okay, so our mentor team will guide you, and you will know about more information. You will get more information about our courses and our class. Okay, students, now let's get into the class. Once again, I will repeat the topics what we are covering. While coming to the topics, we will learn about why nature is called a self-sustaining system, right? And the second thing, we will learn about the relationship between the living and non-living components, right? And later we will discuss, and we will close the class by discussing with the energy flow and the nutrient cycle. So these are the things we will cover in our today's session. Right, students, I hope everyone are doing well and everyone are very healthy and happy. Okay, and once again, good evening, students, and make sure to note down the important points in your notebook. If anyone have any doubt, you can comment down below. Right, students? And in today's class, the first thing is the nature is a singular alone. We have to know nature works alone. No, we have a family, and we have a friends, we have neighbors, we have cousins. We are not alone. In the same way, nature is not alone. See, nature is like an enormous machine with billions of tiny parts, and here every organism plays its major role. If any organism stops, what will happen? Just imagine. See, if any organism stops, and the entire system will becomes disturbed. Okay, students, the entire system becomes disturbed. So every organism is important in our nature, including with the tiny microorganism with the giant elephant, right? So the scientists call this system as an ecological harmony, right? So the scientists call this system as an ecological harmony. So now let us see what is nature. What is nature? We all know nature, like we all like nature, we all love to explore the nature, right? Nature is the very beautiful thing in our earth, and nature includes every living organism and non-living organism. And see, living components are present in our nature, and non-living things also present in our nature, and one and only our earth has these components. Now let us see what are the living components. What are the living components, students? The basic answer we will leave: the things which have life, right? Exactly, the things which have life. Okay, students, the things which have life, we call them as a living components. Okay, the things which have life, we call them as in a living components. So what are the organisms having a life? Like plants have the life, animals have the life, birds have the life, insects have the life, fungi, bacteria, human beings. Every organism which have life, we call them as a living organism. So these are the components we can see in the nature. And while coming to the non-living things, see, the things which don't have life, simply there is no life. Okay, the organisms which don't have life, we call them as a non-living components, or the non-living things, right? Example, see, these are the non-living things: air, water, soil, mountains, rivers, oceans, sunlight, temperature, minerals. Every non-living thing, like they don't have any life. See, these are the things that are present in our nature, in our earth. And see students, there is an interesting fact everyone has to know about it. Like there is only 2.5%, okay, only 2.5% of Earth's water is fresh water, okay, only fresh water, and less than 1%, right, and less than 1%, it is easily available for the humans and other terrestrial organisms. Okay, for humans and other terrestrial organisms, only 1% of water is available for drinking and for using, right? So it is very less amount of water we have, right students? And see, while coming to the ecological harmony and interdependence, while coming to every organism depending, okay, every organism living on our earth will depend on other organism, right? Every organism depends on other organisms. They may be directly or it may be indirectly, okay, they depend on other organisms, maybe directly or indirectly, and the mutual dependence we call it as ecological harmony, okay, the mutual dependence of organism which depend on other organism, we call it as an ecological harmony. So let us see, while coming to the grass, who will eat whom, right? For example, grass is eaten by the grasshopper, and while coming to the frog, grasshopper is eaten by the frog, and frog is eaten by the snake, and snake is eaten by the eagle. Who eats whom? Who eats whom? So here we can see every organism is eaten by another organism. Right students, every organism is eaten by another organism, hence they depend on other organisms directly or indirectly. We call it as an ecological harmony. So it is a very simple thing students. See, I am teaching with your simple sentences. So it will be helpful for you all to learn very easily, right? And see students, while coming to the grasshopper, if grasshopper or if a grass disappears suddenly, what will happen? The total nature and the total ecological harmony will be get disturbed, right? So let us see, if grass disappears, okay, and grasshoppers will die. Why? Because grasshoppers are depending on the grass. Grass is the food for the grasshoppers. If there is no grass, grasshoppers will not survive, they will die. And grasshoppers will die. Who are depending on grasshoppers? Here frogs are depending on grasshoppers, so they will die. And while coming to the frogs, frogs will slowly decline, and snakes are depending on frogs, so everything will slowly start to vanish, and every organism will start to decline. So this is how every organism is depending on other organism directly or indirectly. See, conclusion of this ecological harmony, a tiny blade of a grass supports the survival of large predators. We will think we are eating the food items, okay, if the grass will disappears, what will happen to us? Yes, it will give impact on every living organism which is present in our nature. So every living organism plays its important and major role. So the conclusion for this, the tiny blade of grass is a very important thing that supports large predators, right? And see students, while coming to the next thing, now let us see, while coming to the nature, while it acts as a factory. See, we have a factories, right? They many different types of products have been developed, many types of products have been designed. There are some food items factories, there are some machine factories, and there are some cloth factories, right? Each factory gives some products, right? In the same way, our nature is also a factory. Now let us see what type of products have been developed, what types of products have been produced in our nature. And see, while our nature is a factory, the first thing, plants will produce the food. The nature will give us food, plants will produce the food, we call them as an autotrophs, right? We will learn about it further. And while coming to the animals will consume and build the tissues. They will consume the food and build the tissues. And while coming to the next thing, the quality check and cleanup will be done by the microbes. Microbes are the decomposers. They will break down the dead matter into simple substances. Again, they mix the nutrients, important nutrients into the soil. And while coming to the power supply, who will supply all the power? to the plants means sun is the natural source. It will provide lot of energy to the plants to prepare its food material. And the storage, soil stores the minerals. Okay, while coming to the soil, it also plays a major role. Why? Because plants get nutrients and minerals from the soil, right students? And while coming to the transport, water moves nutrients. So this is how nature will access in a factory by producing lot of products to our organisms which are living on our earth, right? And see students, it is a memory trick, very easy trick. ICE. So here I stands for interdependence, and C stands for cooperation, and E stands for ecological balance. What is ecological balance here? Interdependence, cooperation is gives rise to ecological balance. So this is the simple trick that everyone can remember, ICE. By remembering these three letters, you can remember the whole ecological balance. Right students, anyone have any doubt? You can comment down, right? Okay, then fine. Right students, let's move to the next one. Now let us see about the ecosystem. Okay, while coming to the ecosystem, what is ecosystem? What is ecosystem? Here we all will think ecosystem means a single organism living in a particular area. No, single species, okay, the group of species, we call it as a population. But here a community of different types of species or different types of living organisms interacting with each other, okay, interacting with each other and with non-living surroundings, we call it as an ecosystem in a particular area. Okay, it is very very important. In a particular area, a community of living things and interacting with non-living components or the non-living things, we call it as an ecosystem, right? Let us see some like some more concept regarding to the ecosystem. Simple thing you have to remember, what is ecosystem? Ecosystem means biotic components, right? Biotic components and abiotic environment or abiotic components and their interactions, we call it as an ecosystem. Okay, biotic plus abiotic plus and their interactions, totally we call it as an ecosystem, right students? So here abiotic means, A means non, okay, non-living things. Biotic means living and A means non, right? Non-living environment or non-living things, we call it as an abiotic environment. And there are different types of ecosystem students. While coming to the natural ecosystem like forest area, grasslands, right? Forest area, grasslands, desert areas, ponds, lakes, rivers and the oceans which are present along with the nature. In the nature we call it as a natural ecosystem. And while coming to the artificial, what is artificial ecosystem? It is made by the man. Okay, man-made ecosystem or artificial ecosystem. For example, the crop field, right? And for example, aquarium. For example, aquarium, and for example, garden and park. These so many are there. So these are made by the man. So these type of ecosystems we call it as an artificial ecosystem. And broad divisions while coming to the terrestrial means land based ecosystem, and aquatic means water based ecosystem. So in water based ecosystem we can find freshwater and marine means it will comes under oceans and seas. Okay students, and while coming to the freshwater we can remember the pond water, okay, pond ecosystem and river, right, and lake. So these are comes under freshwater aquatic ecosystem. So these are the different types of ecosystems that we can see. What is the top trophic level in a food chain? Yes dear, I will teach you, right? and we are still discussing about the types of ecosystems. In further, I will teach you about the food chain, food web, and the trophic levels and the flow of energy, right? And now let us see a small neat foundation tip. And while coming to the ecosystem, it is in a self-regulating system. Okay, it is in a self-regulating system, and it maintains itself through flow energy. Okay, it will maintain its energy flow and nutrient cycling and the populations control, decomposition and adaptation. Everything will be happen, and it has been a self-regulating system, that we call it as an ecosystem. Everything will be happen self-regulatingly. Okay, right? So this is about the ecosystem foundation tip. Now let us see about the components of the ecosystem. So there are many different types of components we can find in the ecosystem, right? So while coming to the components, now first let us see about the producers. What are the producers, students? We already learned in our lower grades. See, producers means the organisms which prepare the food material. What are the organisms prepare the food material here? Green plants. See, green plants are called as autotrophs. Autotroph. What are autotrophs? Autotrophs are the organisms which prepare their own food material. Autotrophs are the organisms which prepare their own food material. We call them as an autotrophs, right? And here, this autotroph is the word derived from the Greek. Okay, it is derived from the Greek word, right? And see, the examples like green plants and some green algae can prepare their own food material. How they will prepare their own food material? There is an important process, students. What is the important process? Plants will participate in a process. Anyone have any idea? If anyone have any idea, you can type the process in the comment box. See, the process is photosynthesis. The process is photosynthesis. They participate in photosynthesis process, and what are the components required to participate? What are the components required to prepare the food material here? So there are 4 components required. One is sunlight, okay, sunlight, and carbon dioxide and water, right? And there is also another thing, chlorophyll pigment, green plants. The green color chlorophyll pigment. So these are the 4 components required by the plants to prepare their food material, participating in photosynthesis. So this is how the producers will produce the food by participating in photosynthesis, and they are the entry point. Okay, they are the entry point of energy in every ecosystem. Okay, they are the entry point of energy, means they are supplying. They are the main things to supply the energy of another organisms, for another organisms, right? This is about the producers, right, students? Now let us see the another component that present in the ecosystem, like consumers. What are consumers? We are the consumers, right? We depend on other organisms. We depend on other organisms for food. Why? Because we can't make our food material. So we cannot make our food material. So we depend on other organisms for food. See, for example, there are different types of groups of organisms that comes under heterotrophs, right? So what are the different types of organisms? For example, herbivores. Herbivores are the organisms which feed on green plants, right? They feed on the green plants. For example, deer, grasshopper, cow, goat, different types of organisms which feed on plants. They are called as herbivores. And while coming to the carnivores, they feed on meat. Okay, they will feed on meat. For example, they hunt and eat another animals. Example, tiger, lion, right? Wild animals, simply wild animals. And there another group, omnivores. We also comes under omnivores. Why? Because we feed on both, like we feed on plants and we feed on meat. So crow, humans, bear, there are many different types of examples that comes under omnivores, right, students? These are also the consumers, also an example, and consumer also a component that comes under ecosystem. And anyone have any doubt, students? If you have any doubt regarding the topic that I have taught you still now, you can ask me in the comment box, so I will clarify your doubts. Okay, right, no one have no doubt. Now let's move to the next thing. While coming to the another component, decomposers. See students, these decomposers plays a major role, right? They plays a major role. Why? Because they break down the dead bodies. Okay, they will break down the dead bodies and they will break down the dead matter which is present on the ground, and these breakdown dead matter will be converted into simple substances. Okay, these simple substances like the essential nutrients. The essential nutrients which are present in the dead bodies will again return into the soil. So these nutrients are again used by the plants. So these plants again eaten by the animals. So these animals are again eaten by the other animals. So this is how again these animals will die, and after dying again the decomposers will break down the dead matter. So this is how the nutrients are mixing in the soil, and again it is getting to the plants, plants to animals, animals again to bacteria. So this is how the decomposers plays its major role in breaking down the dead matter into simple substances. So decomposers, for example, bacteria and fungi, these are the examples we can take under decomposers, right students? Now let us see the components of an ecosystems, like what role they are playing and examples and their jobs. While coming to the producers, when seeing to the producers, producers are also called as autotrophs. We already learned autotrophs means the organisms which prepare their own food material, we call them as an autotrophs. And examples for the autotrophs, grass is an example, algae like green plants, right? And what is the job they are playing in our ecosystem? Like they will trap the solar energy from the sun, and this light energy which is trapped from the sun will be used to will be used by the plants to prepare the food material, right students? And while coming to the consumers, we are the consumers like heterotrophs. Heterotrophs means the organisms which cannot prepare their food material. They can't prepare their own food material, we call them as heterotrophs, right? So they depend on other organisms. For example, we are the humans comes under heterotrophs, and another living animals also comes under heterotrophs. So what is their job? To transfer the energy, like we are depending on other organisms, so energy is getting from by eating another organism. So the flow of energy and the transfer of energy is the job role for the consumers. And while coming to the decomposers, see students, while coming to the decomposers, they are also called as saprotrophs, right? So example, bacteria and fungi, and their job role is to recycle the nutrients. They will break down the dead matter, and the nutrients, essential nutrients, will again return into the soil. So these are the components of the ecosystem and their examples and their job purpose in our ecosystem, right? Now let us see some an important key insight. While coming to without producers, without producers, is there consumers? No, without producers, there is no transfer of energy to the consumers. So there is no energy. Without producers, there is no energy. And without decomposers, there is no return nutrients to the soil. So these are very, very important things. So these organisms plays a major role in our ecosystem. Why? Because without producers, there is no energy flow, and without decomposers there is no any nutrients. So this is a key insight. Everyone note down please, right, and keep in your mind. Now let us discuss about the food chain students. See, it is a very, 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 very important topic. It is a very, very important thing, right? So while coming to the food chain, it will shows the transfer of food Simply the transfer of energy. We are eating the food. Why we are eating the food? Simply to survive? No, to get energy we are eating the food, right? To get nutrients we are eating the food. To get energy we are eating the food. The same way food chain shows the transfer of energy and the transfer of food from one organism to the another organism, right? From one organism to another organism, the energy has been transferred, right students, and it will be shown in a straight sequence. Okay, it will be shown in a straight sequence. The food chain sequence will be in a straight way. Remember students, food web and food chain is quite different. Food chain will be shown in a straight sequence. Like example, let us see grassland chain. When we take a grassland chain, who eats whom here? Grass is eaten by the grasshopper, and this grasshopper is eaten by the frog, and this frog is eaten by the snake, and snake is eaten by the eagle. So this is in a grassland chain. And while coming to the pond chain, let us take algae. Okay, algae, water flea, and water flea is eaten by the small fishes. Small fishes is eaten by the big fishes, and big fishes is eaten by the other birds, for example kingfisher, right? So this is a food chain. And now let us see the trophic level and its examples. For example, trophic level 1, in trophic level 1 producers are present, right students? And here Devansh, you can see that you ask a doubt, who are the top trophic level in the food chain? Who are the top trophic level in the food chain? Now you can see from this table, right? So in the trophic level 1, who are present students? Producers are present. And what are the examples here? Grass is an example. And in trophic level 2, primary consumers are present. Who are the primary consumers? The organisms which feed on plants are the primary consumers. So herbivores, right? And let us take an example, grasshopper, right? We can take an example as a cow. We can take an example as a rabbit. Okay? Many are there, etc. And while coming to the trophic level 3, okay, who are present in the trophic level 3? Secondary consumers. Secondary consumers, carnivores. They feed on other animals. Okay, they feed on meat. And for example, frog is an example. Like lion is an example. Tiger is an example, students. The trophic level 3, secondary consumers are present. And while coming to the trophic level 4, who are present here? Tertiary consumers. Tertiary consumers, for example, snake, right? And in the trophic level 5, top and apex predators are present. Example, eagle. So these are the table that belongs to the trophic level, who are present in which trophic level and their examples, right students? And if it possible, make a screenshot. It will be helpful for you all to learn in an easy way, right? Now let us discuss about the food web. While coming to the food web, see, you have to keep in your mind the differences between food chain and food web. In food chain, the sequence flow is in a straight sequence. But while coming to the food web, see, they are interlinked. Okay, they are interlinked. Why? Because many kinds of foods is eaten by one organism. Multiple, right? So many chains. In reality, every organism eats many kinds of food items. For example, I am there, I am eating plant-based food material, and I am eating animal-based food item. So in the same way, like organisms eat many kinds of foods. So many chains are cross-linked and interlinked to form a food web, right? So see, this is an example picture I am showing here, students. So single organism is eaten by multiple organisms, and multiple organisms can eat different types of organisms. So everything is interlinked. We can see here clearly, everything is interlinked. See, this grasshopper is eaten by the frog and as well as by the bird. So many organisms are interlinked and eaten many different types of food which is present in our nature. Example, see here students, while coming to the example, a single frog, just I show you, like a single frog can be eaten, may be eaten by a snake. Okay, it may be eaten by a snake and a bird and a large fish. This frog, okay, this frog may be eaten by a snake. Okay, and this frog may be eaten by a bird, and this frog may be eaten by a large fish. So there is an interlink by many different types of living organisms and many different types of living things. So some snake may be eaten, okay, the same snake may eat the frogs, mice, insects. See this same snake, while coming to this snake, may eat another mice, and it may eat another insects, or it may eat another birds, right? See, these snake eat frog, and these snake eat mice, insects and birds. See, and these overlapping links a food web. The overlapping of the links, we call it as a food web. Right students, it is clear for everyone, or anyone have any doubt regarding to the food web? Simply you can remember the interlink, right? The chain, here many chains will cross, and the interlink to every living organism, we call it as a food web. And why food web matters here? Okay, food chain is enough. Then why it matters more than food chain? Why food web matters more than food chain means, here in a food web it is a more stable, okay, while comparing to the single food chain. While comparing to single food chain, food web is a more stable one. Why? Because if one species declines means if one species is not existed, so predators can switch to the another food sources, okay, they can easily switch to the another food sources for the survival. So the ecosystem could not, or the ecosystem does not collapse. So this is the most important thing, like why food web matters here. So more links equal to more stability. So that is the reason, if any species will disappears, or if any species declines, that organism can switch to another food sources. So this is how the food web has been many cross chains and interlinks. And you can see here students, food chain versus food web. See, it is in a sequence. It has been followed within straight sequence. But while coming to the food web, we can see many interlinks. Many cross chains we can see here. Right? And while coming to the energy flow and the 10% law, it is also an important topic students. Right? It is also an important topic. While coming to the energy flow and the 10% law, the sun is the ultimate source of energy. Why? Because it is the thing where the energy has been trapped by the plants and the food has been prepared, and that plants are the producers which are giving food to the another living organisms. So green plants will capture the tiny fraction of solar energy, and that fraction powers almost every food chain, right? So this is how the sun is the ultimate source of nearly all energy on the earth. And there are two golden rules to remember students. So energy flow, how the energy flow will be, it is in a one way, okay, it is in a unidirectional, and the sun to producers, right, and producers to consumers, consumers to loss, and consumers to lost as a heat. After consumers it will be lost as a heat, and it will never cycles back. Why? Because matter is recycled but the energy is not recycled here. So this is the thing you have to remember. Right students, anyone have any doubt? You can ask your doubts, you can comment down below, so I will clarify all your doubts. Right, let's move to the next one. While coming to the 10% law, see here students, it is in a Linzmann law, and here only about 10% of energy will be passes from one trophic level to the next thing. Okay, only the passing of energy, how much? Only the 10%. You can see it is in a trophic level. So the rest 90% is used for the life processes. What are the life processes? Like movement is in a life process, respiration for example here, right? It will be used 90%. The rest 90% has been used for the life processes, and it will be lost as a heat. So that is the reason only 10% will be passes from one trophic level to another trophic level, right? And let us see some small neat foundation here regarding to the food chains. Why are food chains short? Because the energy will be strings 90% at each step. At each step 90% of energy will be stringed and only 10% have been passed to the another trophic level, and there is not enough energy left for the support of higher levels. So this is also why the apex predators always few in number. So this is the reason when the energy flow is going from one trophic level to another trophic level, there is also a decreasing number of the organisms. So that is the reason we can see the food pyramid in a triangle region. So when it is going higher, the size will be decreased. Now let us see about the ecological pyramid, students. While coming to the ecological pyramids, it is in a graphical representations that we can see the trophic levels. Okay, we have learned about the trophic level 1, trophic level 2, trophic level 3, trophic level 4 and trophic level 5, right? So this is the graphical representation. We can see it has been drawn with the producers at the base and top predators at the tip. See, the base has been drawn with the producers, primary producers, and it has been top with the predators. So this is how the ecological pyramids have been represented by using graphical representation. And while coming to the ecological pyramids, we can see the different types here. So the number of organisms which are present in each level, okay, we call it as a pyramid of number. So the number of organisms which are present in each level, usually it will decreases when it going upward, but each level has some amount of number, right? So that some amount of number, we call it as a pyramid of number. And while coming to the pyramid of biomass, the total dry weight, okay, the total dry weight of every organism at each level. Okay, students, the total weight of organisms at each level, we call it as a pyramid of biomass. And while coming to the pyramid of energy will be available at each level, right? So it will be always upright. When it goes upward, the flow of energy will be decreased. There will be a decreased in size of organisms. So this is about the ecological pyramids, about the pyramid of number, pyramid of biomass and pyramid of energy. Right, students? Okay, now let's move to the nutrient cycles. It is also a very interesting topic. So these nutrient cycles will be happened in different types of steps. Now let us see, the nature will not waste us anything, right? In the same way, in our house also, our mother will not waste anything. She will keep each and everything and she will use everything, right? In the same way, nature is also called as a mother, right? Nature also will not waste anything. So the same atoms of carbon and nitrogen and oxygen and water are used again and again here. Okay, everything will be recycled, everything will be used again and again. So as they move between organisms and the environment, there will be participated into different types of nutrient cycles. Now let us see about all these cycles. So while coming to the water cycle, now first let us see about the water cycle, how we are getting rains, right? So the first thing, the evaporation will be happen. The water will start to evaporate with the help of heat that comes from the sun, and it will again forms into the clouds. So we call it as a condensation. So after forming clouds, there will be a fall of rain or snow. So that process we call it as a precipitation. Okay, that process we call it as a precipitation. And next there will be a runoff to the groundwater, and this groundwater will be again back to the oceans, plants, okay, again back to the oceans, and plants will add water vapor through the transpiration method. Okay, and again the process will be continued the same. So there is a usage of things which is present in our nature again and again. nature waste nothing, right? And there is a carbon cycle. While coming to the carbon cycle, the carbon is removed from the air. How it is removed from the air means the plants will absorb the carbon dioxide during the photosynthesis process. We will respire, right? We will breathe in oxygen and we will breathe out carbon dioxide. But plants will breathe in carbon dioxide and they will release us oxygen. So who will absorb the carbon dioxide here means plants will absorb the carbon dioxide during the photosynthesis process and again return it to the air through respiration, decomposition and through combustion process. Combustion means burning of the wood and fossil fuels, right, to the pollution. Okay. Now let us see about the nitrogen cycle, students. Here nitrogen cycle will be happen in many steps. Now let us see each step in a detail. And while coming to our atmosphere, air is composed with 78% of 78% of nitrogen gas, but plant cannot use them directly. So how plants will get this nitrogen? Let us see step by step. And while coming to the nitrogen fixation, nitrogen gas and usable compounds will be used by the rhizobium. In the root nodules of the leguminous plants, we can see there are different types of azotobacter, cyanobacter. Like cyanobacter we call it as a blue-green algae. Also by the lightning we can see here, students. I will show you the picture how the nitrogen fixation will be happen. So this is the picture. We can clearly understand how the nitrogen fixation will be happen by the different types of organisms, including with the plants and including with the microorganisms which are present in the root nodules of legumes, right? While coming to the next step, nitrification. See here, ammonia, nitrites will be turned to nitrates by nitrosomonas and nitrobacter. Okay, so this is how the nitrification will be happen, students. Everything will be seen clear cut in the picture which is displayed here, right, students? And while coming to the assimilation will be happen by the absorption. So the plants which are present in the soil, which are grown in the soil, the roots will absorb the nutrients. See here, with the help of the roots, the nutrients which are present, the nitrogen which are present inside the soil will be absorbed with the help of roots. Okay, the plants will start to absorb the nitrates and these nitrates will make the proteins. So animals will eat these plants again. So animals will easily get the nitrogen by eating the plants which have the nitrogen getting from the soil. So this is how the assimilation process will be happen from one organism to another organism. While coming to the ammonification means again back into the soil, right? So the decomposers, the dead matter. So here dead matter, for example, let us take an animal. After turning into a dead matter, these dead matter will be again decomposed by the decomposers. So these decomposers turn the dead matter into simple substances and again it will be back into the ammonia into the soil. So this is how the nitrogen cycle will be happen step by step, students. And denitrification, while coming to the denitrification, nitrates, nitrogen gas will be happened, like nitrogen gas will be formed by pseudomonas and again returning as a nitrogen to the air. So this is how plants are getting nitrogen and also air is also getting the nitrogen. So this is the nitrogen cycle that happens in a step-by-step process. Okay, we have completed our nitrogen cycle. Now let's get it into the oxygen cycle, students. So oxygen, it is the main thing that we are using for survival, right? Without oxygen, we can survive? No, we cannot survive. So oxygen is the main source. So we have to plant more trees. Why? Because plants are all the things which are giving sufficient oxygen to every humans and other organisms, right? So released, how it is released? It is released by the plants during a process we call it as a photosynthesis, and it is used by all living organisms for respiration process and also for burning and resting. Okay, we all know only for respiration process we use oxygen, And beside that and behind that, there is also another process. Okay, there are also another things happening with the help of oxygen. What is that? To burn the fire also we need oxygen, and to rust. Okay, the iron is getting rust due to the oxygen. Right, students? So this is about the oxygen cycle. Now let us see a neat foundation while coming to the master role. Okay, it is in a master role. See students, this is the energy will flows. Okay, matter cycles round and round. Energy will flows in a one way, in a unidirectional, right? In a straight sequence, the energy will be flows, and matter will cycles again and again, round and round. So these are the master rules you have to remember, students. Now let us learn about the decomposition. It is the nature's recycling group. Why? Because decomposers also plays a major role, right? Decomposers also plays a major role by cleaning our grounds, by breaking down the dead matter, right? While coming to the decomposers, the bacteria and the fungi will break down the dead plants. Not only animals, students, plants also broken down by the decomposers. Okay, plants and animals, and the waste material which is present on the ground, it will be turned into a simple substances, or it will be turned into a simple nutrients. And humus means it's a dark fertile organic matter, right? So why they are very very essential? Why? Because see, the return of nitrogen will be happen, carbon and minerals to the soil. Okay, with the help of decomposers, again the nitrogen will be back into the soil, again the carbon matter will be back into the soil, again the minerals will be mixed with the soil. So this is why the decomposers and the decomposition is important, and it will keep the earth free from the dead matter, right? It is also a very important thing. If we see the dead matter for another day, we could not find the same dead matter on the same place. Why? Because there are all organisms which participate in the decomposition process. And maintain soil fertility. How it maintains soil fertility? By again mixing the nutrients, mixing the nitrogen, mixing the organic matter, which is essential for the producers. Who are producers here? Plants. Simply, the plants are the producers. Right, students? I hope everything was clear from this slide, right? Now let us see the relationships between the organisms. It is in a simple table. Now let us see the relationship and the meaning and example for each and everything that we are learning. Okay, students, while coming to the mutualism, here both will get benefited. Okay, both will get benefited here. For example, bee and flower. Okay, and for example, rhizobium and legume, and for example lichen, algae and fungi. So these are the examples that comes under relationship that we call it as a mutualism. While coming to the commensalism, okay, while coming to the commensalism, here only one is benefited and another one is affected. And example, orchid growing on a tree branch. Okay, orchid which is growing on a tree branch will get benefited, one is get affected. And while coming to parasitism, okay, while coming to parasitism, see here meaning of the parasitism, one is get benefited and host will be harmed. See, the host will be harmed and the parasite will get benefited here. The tapeworm which is present in the small intestine, okay, the tapeworm which is present inside our intestine will get benefited here. And cuscuta will also get benefited here, and the host like the human will get affected and the plants will get affected here. That type of relationship we call it as a parasitism. And while coming to the predation, here meaning it means that one hunts and eats the other. Okay, for example lion hunting the deer. And while coming to the competition, this is the relationship that both compete for the same resource. Okay, two plants are competing for the sunlight. So this is how the relationship between the organisms, both compete for the same resources. We are competing for same resources, right? We are writing many different types of exams, right? So here many children are participating for a single competitive exam. In the same way, competition means single resources. Same resources have been competed by different types of organisms. And now let's think like a scientist. We all love to become a scientist. Some are passionate to become a scientist, right? So now let's become a scientist for some minute. So flowers make nectar. Okay, think like a scientist. Flowers will make the nectar, right? And here bees will collect the nectar, and these bees will carry the pollen grain. So they will help for pollination. So these flowers will again participate in the pollination, and they will develop the seeds. So these seeds again grow into a new plants, and these new plants again make a food and again gives oxygen. So here both partners are winning. So this type of relationship we call it as a mutualism. Why? Because here both are benefited. See, here both are benefited. So that type of relationship we call it as a mutualism. Right, students? Next one. And while coming to the thing, dynamic equilibrium, and it is not a static, okay? It is, nature is not static. So every seconds plants will grow, animals will born, and animals will die. So leaf will form and again leaves will grow. So seeds will sprout, again rainfalls will happen, organisms will again decompose. So nature is not a static thing. So here now let us see what is equilibrium. So the system keeps changing. The system will again keeps on changing, but overall balance will be here. Okay, overall balance will be maintained and overall balance will be remain steady. Okay, we call it as a dynamic equilibrium. What is dynamic equilibrium, students? Dynamic equilibrium means the system keeps on changing, but there is no any change, like there will be a maintained balance with steady, right? So that we call it as a dynamic equilibrium. And now let us see about the population control. For example, there have been thousands of animals are born. At the same time, thousands of animals will die. In the same way, the nature have been balanced and remain steady. So that type of thing we call as we call it as a dynamic equilibrium. So birds at the same time, birds, deaths, and food and predators, everything will be balanced to one another. So this is an example that we call for dynamic equilibrium. Okay, students, and while coming to the biodiversity, what is biodiversity? Bio means life, right? What is biodiversity? Bio means life, and diversity means variety or variations. Variety or variations, right, students? Here the different types of organisms or the different types or variety of living organisms living in a particular area. For example, different types of plants, different types of animals, and different types of microorganisms which are living in a particular area, we call it as a biodiversity. So why it matters? Because more species equal to more links in the food web, and it is equal to the greater stability. If the food web is there, food web is present, there is a greater stability. With the food chain, there is no any greater stability. That's why food web will be more matters. And provides food, medicine, oxygen, and clean water to every living organism. And loss of biodiversity makes ecosystem fragile and easy to collapse. So why it matters means because more species will be interlinked with one another, and it will provide biodiversity, provides food, shelter, medicines, oxygen, everything that are essential for every living thing that present in our earth and nature. And what disturbs this balance? What will disturb this balance? The first thing, deforestation. Why? Because this deforestation leads to more pollution, and there is less rainfall, and it will destroys our habitats. See, the deforestation leads to the loss of habitat for the wild animals, right students, and also it leads to the disturbances for the food chains, right, and it will leads to overhunting, like it will leads to pollution like air, oxygen and soil. Overhunting, overfishing removes the important key species, and excess chemical fertilizers and pesticides have been used here, and damage will cause to the soil and entire food chains. So this is how there will be any disturbances in our balance ecosystem biodiversity. So everything is important. So why we have to protect our nature means if one thing start to disturb, the whole nature will start to collapse. So that is the reason every living organism plays an important role in our ecosystem. Not in a living organism, non-living organisms also participates its major role by producing, like by giving light energy to the plants, right, and by giving water for the survival that we are drinking, and while coming to the soil giving us nutrients, right. So this is how every living and non-living components are playing its major role in our ecosystem and in our earth and in our nature. So that's why we are surviving happily in our today's life, right. Now let us see about the conservation students. While coming to conservation, conservation means protecting, right? Protecting our nature and protecting to be balanced. For example, see here students, planting trees, okay? We have to plant more trees, then the pollution will be decreased and there will be more rainfall. And we have to protect our forest areas and to protect our wildlife. See, and wildlife, why we have to protect our wildlife? Why? Because every living organism have been interlinked with another organism. See, and we have to set up national parks to protect the wildlife and other living things, and sanctuaries and biosphere reserves, and we have to follow the reduce, reuse and recycle, and we have to save the water and energy. So these are the conservation and these are the things we have to follow to protect our nature. And do you know students, the human body is about 60 to 70% of water, right? We are getting only 1% of water from the nature, but our human body is made up of 60 to 70% of water. Like a jellyfish, over 90% of water. See, a jellyfish is made up of, it contains 90% of water. Every living cell depends on water to perform its functions. So water matters more, right? Okay, now let us discuss about the adaptation and natural selection. Adaptation means what students here? The special features that help an organism, that helps the organism to survive in its environment. We call it as an adaptation. For example, see, cactus stores water. Why? Because they are surviving in the desert areas. They are grown in desert areas, right? And while coming to the polar areas, it is adapted to the polar regions, snowfall areas, right? And while coming to it has adapted by having a thick fur, right? And the fish has gills. Why it has gills, right? It has gills to respire in the water. So these are the adaptations for different types of organisms to survive in a particular environment or to survive in a particular area. While coming to the natural selection, see students, it is a very interesting thing. Organisms are best suited to their surroundings to survive or to reproduce, okay, and this has been passing on useful features. Useful features have been passed from one generation to the another generation over long periods, and these shapes species to fit to their homes. Here homes means the place or the area where they are living, right students? So this is about the natural selection, and let us see a neat foundation tip here. Adaptation and natural selection are the basics of the evolution, right? The both adaptation plus natural selection are the basics for evolution. Right, students? And here there are quick memory tricks we all have to remember, students, and these are very simple and these are very easy. So nature means we have to remember 3 letters. What are the 3 letters? ICE. So here I stands for interdependence and C stands for cooperation and E stands for ecological balance. So nature means ICE. And roles, what are the roles? Like PCD. What are the PCD here? P stands for producers, C stands for consumers and D stands for decomposers. PCD, the roles of PCD, we all know the roles. And the 10% law, Linzmann law, it is a very important. The passing of energy from one level to another level always in a single direction, unidirectional, and the flow of energy is always 10%. And the remaining rest, 90% have been used for life processes. So this is about the quick memory trip, students. So this is a very interesting and simple easy topic if you learn with interesting, exciting, right? And see, there are also some more tricks to remember energy flows, right? Matter cycles, like the one line that captures of all ecology. And nitrogen helpers. Who are the nitrogen helpers here? Rhizobium bacteria will fix us the nitrogen, and nitrobacteria will convert the pseudomonas. Okay, will convert the nitrogen, and pseudomonas will again return into the air or again into the soil. So this is how we can remember that topic that we have learned in a simple trick, students. So this is about our class, and it is a very interesting thing, students, if you learn in a simple way, right? And it is also a newly added chapter in our 8th grade as in a 12th chapter, students. And if you have any doubt, you can ask in the comment section, right? So I will solve all your doubts. Anyone have any doubt? Right? Anyone have any doubt, students? Okay, fine. I hope everyone liked our classes. And one more thing, students, if you want to listen more classes, we are offering different types of courses in our app. So once again, I'm explaining about our courses that we are offering. Like we are offering booster course, we are offering math champion, and we are also offering the SISYA topper programs. If you want to join our classes, and you can use this link which is present here, and you can choose the grade, and you have to enroll with your mobile number. And if you want to know more information about our classes, you can use this contact number, so our mentors will guide you how to join our classes. And thank you all for listening to the class. Please don't forget to subscribe our channel, and thank you all. See you in the next session. Bye everyone.